When Ponyboy Curtis leaves to go to the movie theater one day, he doesn't expect to end up on the ground with a knife to his throat. But in The Outsiders, that's life. The book The Outsiders is a multi-award winner with awards such as the ALA Best Young Adult Book, New York Herald Tribune Best Teenage Book, and many, many more. It quickly became a teenage bestseller for obvious reasons, as you will soon see. The novel follows the life of Ponyboy Curtis, a member of the Greasers who narrates throughout the novel. He shows his viewpoint on his friends and events through a slangy, enthusiastic voice. You get to know some of the other characters in the book, such as Dallas, a tough yet haunted young man who, though Ponyboy didn't initially like, gained his respect as the novel progressed. There's Johnny Cade, a diffident 16-year-old boy dealing with many issues in his household, such as domestic violence, a large factor in his bashfulness. On the other side of town are the Socs, the Grease's sworn enemies. One of them is Cherry Valance, a fiery red-headed Soc with a strong belief that the Socs and the Greasers aren't so different. Another Soc is Bob, who happens to be Cherry's boyfriend, as well as being the drunken ringleader of the Soc gang, terrorizing the Greasers in the novel. Hinton reveals on a website that the novel was set in 1965, in her hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but for the majority of readers who only read the novel, there was no indication as to the time and place that the novel was set in. Ponyboy's vagueness as to time and place actually makes the novel relevant and relatable to teens and young adults of any race, background, and time. It could be your hometown too, it isn't just about Tulsa. Ponyboy City is divided in two, with the east side of town, otherwise known as the wrong side of town, belonging to the Greasers and the west side belonging to the Socs. These two sides act almost like symbols, representing the divide by class and wealth. In the beginning, we meet Ponyboy as he's coming home from the movies. He lives with his two older brothers, Dari and Soda Pop, and has recently lost both his parents. We soon learn it isn't safe for Ponyboy or any boy from the east side of town to walk home alone at night. You see, Greasers are the prime targets for the rich gang of Socs from the west side. Just minutes from home, Ponyboy gets attacked but is rescued by four members of his gang before he's seriously injured. The situation introduces the novel's major driving conflict, the intense rivalry between the Socs and the Greasers. Later, on Saturday night, Johnny, Ponyboy, and Two-Bit meet two Soc girls and decide to walk them home. Ponyboy almost instantly forms a connection with Cherry, one of the two Socs, and they find they share many common interests. Ponyboy soon begins realizing that the two so-called classes of society aren't so different after all, and that the stereotype of a greaser, one that he had let him be defined as for so long, was practically non-existent. Johnny and Ponyboy fall asleep for a while, so Pony gets home quite late. Ponyboy's older brother, Dari, is very angry when Ponyboy gets home and hits him across the head, forcing Ponyboy to flee from his house. Johnny accompanies Ponyboy for a walk to the nearby park to let off some steam. Whilst at the park, a gang of tough Socs show up, and within a matter of seconds, a brawl commences, ending with the death of one of the Socs, Bob. This forces Ponyboy and Johnny to a secluded life on the run. They, along with the rest of the Greaser gang, have to contend with the repercussions of their uncontrollable lives. Whilst some of the gang attempt atonement, others meet wretched ends. Much of the action in the novel is driven by the social class divide. This is a critical issue for many teens and an integral part of adolescence. The idea of not fitting in and finding things simply unfair, as well as being forced to make critical decisions about identity and living with those consequences, is something that all teenagers go through. There is a continuous theme throughout the novel that life for the Greasers is unfair and the Socs get life easy. Ponyboy's opinion on this begins changing when he starts realizing that things are rough all over, a topic of relevance for modern adolescents as well. The issues and themes, from class division to intense moments of action, all from the perspective of a teen who feels wronged by society, makes for an interesting and immersive read. Of particular relevance to teens and young adults, it's no wonder it's a multi-award winning bestseller.